Welcome to Treehouse TV with Melissa Kerman at Melissa's Crafting Treehouse. And happy Facebook Live time. So glad to have you joining in, whether you're live or on the replay. This is always so much fun to come share with you on Thursdays, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I have some fun in store tonight. I've got prizes and giveaways. We're sort of continuing the celebration of my 18-year anniversary. Did 2 consecutive weeks of big celebrations and a special offer as well. Hi, Debbie. Welcome. Good to see people coming on, joining in. Hi, Chris. So yes, prizes and giveaways, some great projects. I've got a rewind project and a redo, or a rewind redo, and what I'm calling a fast forward. I did these 2 categories of projects last week as well. Got some announcements and again, prizes. And I have already announced in my newsletter, but I will announce here the winners from last week's prizes. And so yay. Hi, Gail. Hi, Vicki. Glad to see people joining in. Wonderful. So, all right. So before I launch in, I did want to say that last week, so many people commented and shared. I had various things that I asked people, 3 of their favorite things as a paper crafter, your first technique, some of the first techniques you ever did, the number of years that you've been a crafter, and more. So I wanted to highlight a few of those things because it was really kind of fun. So the things that people said they loved, of course, lots of different product categories, stamps and ink and techniques, of course, and then of course the community, which is really the biggest thing, the most fun thing about being a paper crafter is being part of a larger community. And I never imagined that, hi Wendy, hi Kathy, yay. I never imagined that I could have friends online, people that I really got to know. And in recent years, as I've done this more, that has happened more and more. And it's just been so wonderful and fun. So it's a name on a screen or a name related to a comment. And then you start connecting with people and send emails and whatever. And it turns into a friendship. And I never would have imagined that was possible. So it's very, very neat. Hi, Lauralee. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. So, I love that. It's my favorite thing. Of course, next to doing the craft and doing lots of techniques, which are my favorite. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome. Yay. And then the first techniques people talked about so many different things, but a lot of people talked about heat embossing. And it was very fun to see the things that people talked about were their first thing that they ever did. Some were kind of complex. And let's see what else. But actually, my favorite thing that people commented on, I talked about last week, we did the Berry Blossoms stamp set, was one of the featured projects or products. And I said my favorite popsicle and jam was strawberry and blueberry. And we did some stuff with berry images. But some of the flavors people came up with were reminded me of all the wonderful flavors out there, like root beer popsicles, creamsicles. I love creamsicles. The orange and vanilla. What else did somebody say? I gotta look at my list. Of course, blueberry. Somebody said Marion blackberry, a regular orange popsicle, banana. Not that would be my favorite, but anyway, it's just really such a kick to see what everybody commented on. So thank you all for sharing. So if you're just joining in or you missed the introduction, we've got prizes and giveaways today. I'm going to actually show sneak peeks of the butterfly bouquet stamp camp event at the very end. So don't miss out. Stay to the end and make sure you get to see those. And great projects. And then I'm going to re-announce the prize winners for last week. Okay, so let's just launch right in. So you guys know this week and last week I did 10 days really of my 18-year anniversary special offer. Lots of people took advantage of it yesterday because yesterday was free shipping. Gotta love that, right? So people got lots of perks from me and free shipping. So thanks to those of you who took advantage of that. It's awesome. That is still going on through March 20th, my special offer. And you should see the piles of things some people are getting. So anyways, pretty awesome. Let's see what else. Now I've also got the Butterfly Bouquet Stamp Camp. Some of you may have heard, if you're in the demonstrator world or if you tried to place an order yesterday, the designer series papers, the two that went with that goes with the Butterfly Bouquet bundle, are only available while supplies last. And one of them is all gone. The Butterfly Bijou designer series paper is all gone. And the, what is it called? Natural Touch, this, which is one of the featured products I'm going to use today, is still available, but it is, again, only while supplies last. So don't delay getting that paper if you're interested in it. The Butterfly Bouquet stamp set and dies are going to be in the annual catalog, so that's going to last for a while, so that's no worries. Now, that said, the Butterfly Bouquet Stamp Camp is using some of those products, and I have only bought so much. So if you are all interested in that Butterfly Bouquet Stamp Camp, which is 12 projects, $40 worth of product included in it, the cost of the event is $60, but if you are interested, I'm telling you, there's not going to be very many spots because I only have what I have to offer in the way of materials in order to make those projects. So don't delay. The deadline isn't until the 27th, but if you want a spot, I would not wait until then. So there's details on my website. There was a blog post that I did I guess last week I did it, and I've been announcing it in my newsletter as well. So there's links in the newsletter. That's kind of important. All right, so last week's drawing winners were, and I have the prizes over here so I could show them again and make sure that you all know. Charlotte Adams won this pair of handmade coasters right there. And Teresa Anderson won this pack of holiday rhinestones. Yay, Teresa. Jolene Berry won this set of retired products. And last but not least, Lauralee Falvey, who I saw you here. Oh, and Teresa's here, yay. Won this pack of designer series paper. I did a random drawing. We actually had 62 entries because people shared, people commented, and it was pretty awesome. All the sharing and commenting. And everybody, all 4 of those people, will get one of these adorable little canvas bags that my downline and team member, Sally Powers, my chick team member, made for me. And they're really sweet. And of course, they have my logo on it. So everybody will get that as well. So, you guys want to see what the prizes are for today? Say yes. They're in this little bag here. So everybody who wins will also get that canvas bag. And then here are the things that I have. And I'm going to tell you what you need to do in order to get entries to win them. You love the bag, yay! I'm so glad you love it, Sharon. So I'm going to be giving away this Winter Woods stamp set. Super versatile, lovely little set. Can't go wrong with that. I will be giving away this pack of 3 notepads. They're actually wish lists. So you have wish lists forever. If you're a demonstrator yourself, of course, you could give them as gifts, but you can use them yourself as well. Let's see. I've got another little bundle of retired products here to give away. And hi, Melissa. Hi, Vicki. And last but not least, a product that I'm going to use today. I'm giving away this stamp set. It's called Saddle Brown Stays On, and a re-inker to go with it. So I'm going to be showing that in one of the projects today. And I don't think I've ever demonstrated with it, so it will be very fun to show you that. And then, of course, whoever wins will get the canvas bag as well, the 4 people. Now, last week, I'm telling you, when I was not very good at telling you and communicating with you guys about what you needed to do to win and how to, to do it so it would be easy for me. So if you use a hashtag and you use a specific one, then I can look up by hashtag. A lot of people didn't use hashtags and, because I wasn't clear. It's my fault. I take responsibility. So it took me a long time to go through all the comments, which there were many, and it was wonderful. Hi, Chan. To figure out all the 62 entries in the drawing. So this week I'm going to be better. So now I have it all written out, and it's going to be on the screen. It probably looks backwards right now, so I'm not going to focus on it now. But when I turn the screen down, I'm going to put it facing up so you guys can see it. Basically, you've got, let's see, what is it? 5 ways to get entries. So I'm going to tell you, and then you'll see it on the screen, so hopefully that'll help. Hi, Nancy. Good to have you here. Sometimes I don't say hello to you because I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm saying. But today, because this is about my 18-year anniversary, because stamping is so much about the community, I want to really make some extra effort to notice names and say hello and shout outs because you guys are awesome. I wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for you. So thank you so much for being here. My little aside. Okay, so 5 ways to get entries. You're going to get 2 entries for sharing. So if you invite somebody, share this video with anybody during the video. If you tag friends, you'll get 2 entries as well. So just leave a comment, put a person's name who you're a friend with on Facebook into the comments, and you'll get 2 drawing entries. And let's see what else. And then the others are, okay, your favorite hashtag, favorite prize, okay? So I want you to comment and let me know what your favorite prize is of the 4 things I showed. Again, I'm going to have it, what the specifics are on the screen. And then the next one is hashtag creative request. So that's for you to tell me what kinds of projects you would love to see me do, because I love requests. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Carol. Yay. Oh, I'm glad you like how the packages are put together. I tried to make them look pretty. Okay, where was I? So creative requests. So kinds of projects, kinds of techniques. Do you like 3D things? Do you like a specific techniques that you want to see? Different stamp sets you might want to see. So sometimes people say, I have a stamp set, I don't know what to do with it. Give me an idea. Now, I'm not going to guarantee I have that stamp set because I don't always have it. There's too many things to have. But you can at least ask, and I will do my best. Hashtag creative request. And last but not least, hashtag class request. So one of the comments from last week's live, somebody said, somebody said they would love a class on, or to do an event or Facebook Live or whatever, on how to do tile coasters, how to make tile coasters. There are different ways to do it, different media you can use. So that made me think, well, why not ask people what classes they want? So I know that's a lot. I'm going to put it down on the table and leave it there for a little bit when I face the camera down so you can see it. Okay, so those are all the different ways you can get entered for prizes, for the 4 prizes I just showed, plus the canvas bag. All right. Phew. We're moving right along, looking at my notes. I always have notes. Okay. Oh, last but not least, I've been mentioning this. When you're in a live video, if you go to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and I think you tick on the 3 little dots, you should see a little bell. And if you click on that bell and it fills in when you click on it, it means you'll be notified when I go live. That bell only is there when you're in a live video. So you have to do it when we're live. So do that as well. And if you're on YouTube, Facebook, share. Share the love of paper crafting with others by sharing me. I would appreciate it. Okay, so, okay, moving right along. Okay, you ready for projects? Let's do that. I'm going to face the camera down. You will get to see the hashtags, categories. I'm going to move that center screen right there for just a minute while I get myself set up. So you might want to get a pencil and paper out, write it down, and then, take notes, because you could comment on all of those things and you could get multiple entries for the prizes. There's no harm in doing that. Okay, so last week, one of the projects that I shared was with the Berry Blessings stamp set, and one of the gifts I'm giving away for my 18-year anniversary is this Berry Blessings stamp set and a sampler of the Coordinating Designer Series paper. Now, this special offer is while supplies last. I had 4 of these. This is my last one. So if you want it, place a qualifying order. Just saying. Now, last week's projects were made with that set, like I said. This was my rewind. These were the redos using those adorable little fruits. And this week, well, I decided I'm going to go about things a little bit differently. But let me show you the rewind project for this week. It's a pretty simple project. Definitely something that I made within the first year or so of being a demonstrator. Does anybody recognize this set? It's like called Watercolor Garden or something like that. Super bright and cheery, that old, I can't remember what that yellow was. It was such a bright lemon yellow. I loved it. Anyway, just a bright, cheerful card. So I decided to redo it. Now, I was going to show you this card with Berry Blessings, but because I can't help myself and because I only have one of these left, I decided I would show you something else. But I did make a card with this layout, and I have to ask your opinion on something. This is pretty straightforward, right? The stamping, because I did the stamping last week. All the images in the set have 2 images to make up the whole. So you got your berry, and then you fill it in with a lighter color or with stamped off ink. So I made a redo, which was this. Okay, so that's my blueberries, and I did them in different stages of ripeness, right? So the lighter, the purplish ones are more like the less ripe ones, right? So there's my redo. Trying to leave that up there so you guys can take notes. Yo-yo yellow. Yes, Jan. That's right. I was forgetting that. I'm so glad. You guys all take care of me. I know that you will take care of me if I ask questions and I forget things. So, okay, so here's the thing. I made a sentiment for it. You always have a way of making my day, but I was conflicted about where to put it. So you're going to help me tell me where I should put it. So I put it there, right? But the sort of at an angle just didn't look right to me. So does it look right like that? Or maybe in the lower right-hand corner? So comment and let me know. I'm going to leave that up there for a minute. In the lower right-hand corner, up at the top. I know, it's just a small little thing, but I figured, why not ask you guys? Because you guys always give me good input. So for today, you guys, this is going to crack you up. I'm not a very good salesperson because what I'm showing you today, you can't even buy. I'm going to show you, well, actually, you can technically buy this stamp set. You just can't buy the bundle. The lower right-hand corner says Teresa. Okay, I'm watching the notes. This stamp set has a punch that goes with it. And the punch is not even orderable right now. I think they're having trouble getting them, probably from overseas. I think they come from China. So you can't get the bundle. You can get the stamp set, though. And what we're going to use today is just the stamp set. And in the theme of the fruit theme, I couldn't help myself but do something with the fruit. The lower right-hand corner for the tag. Okay, I said 2 for voting for the lower right-hand corner. I love it. I'm going to keep trying to notice the comments there. Now, I made a note that the bundle is supposed to be back in stock by April 19th, but that's a long ways off, right? Oh, and Jan says to the top, oh no, this is where I start getting conflicted because you give me different opinions. And whatever, I'll figure it out. See if I get the strong vote one way or the other. Okay, so we're going to be using that sweet strawberry set to do something sort of similar to this. I'm actually casing a project. Oh darn! I wrote her name down. She's one of the Stampin' Up! Artists, actually, the concept artists, and I think I wrote her name down on my notes. Cindy Schuster, that's her name, Cindy Schuster. I saw this sample of her project on Instagram not too long ago. And I just thought it was so pretty. And it's actually kind of similar, like I said, in terms of the layout. Pretty simple layout. So here we go. I hope everybody's had enough time to look at this. I'm going to set it aside. Let me know if you need a reminder later. Okay, looking for... I see. Oh, good. You guys are asking for requests. I love it. Okay. I'm going to keep looking for comments and for where to put that sentiment as I can. Might not actually see them until later, but we'll do my best. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to be using just this image of the strawberry. There's actually 2 images. It's a 2-step stamp, but I'm just going to be using this one. I really am almost 100% copying exactly what Cindy did. So this is just to say, I'm using kind of my layout, but her layout was very similar to mine. So it was really easy to do, and it's such a bright, cheerful card. So we're going to start with Poppy Parade, and I'm going to do a few Poppy Parade strawberries here and abouts. And you can probably tell that the image itself is actually textured. So it actually looks like it has some shading on it. That right there was because I didn't quite stamp it completely. So I'm going to live dangerously and try to go right over the top. Because this is a photopolymer stamp, I can do that. Ooh, look at that bright red cherry that I have now. I mean strawberry. I like it. Okay, now of course, I'm using multiple colors for my strawberries, again, to kind of make them look natural, right? So just like the blueberries, I use different colors for the blueberries because strawberries aren't all exactly the same color, right? And it just makes it fun as well. So the next color I'm going to use is Melon Mambo. This is pretty bright. Oh, it looks real, doesn't it? Yes. Even more so, I think, if you put the little, little seeds on it or whatever, but I like it just the way it is, so we're not going to worry about that today. So now I'm inking the Melon Mambo up, but I didn't like it quite as strong as full ink, so I'm going to stamp off and do a couple of my strawberries in this pink. This is the only color that I'll be stamping off. Well, that's not totally true, but it's always a trick, right? I was just about to stamp it without stamping off, right? Just to remember what you're doing. It's easy to forget. Okay, so now I'm cleaning it up again. And I'm going to come in with one last color, my petal pink. I see there's requests for vellum. Well, that's cool because I have something to show you in vellum. I actually shared something last week related to vellum, so I had some follow-up on that. And I do actually have a class dedicated, a technique class dedicated to dry embossing with vellum, which I think people really enjoyed. And that is available. I may even have kits for that class. Anybody who's interested. So when I do technique classes, I make only a certain number of kits, and then occasionally I'll make a few extra, and then I have them on hand for if people want to buy them after the fact. But a lot of times I run out, and most of the classes I have run out of them. But I think I may have some for that vellum class. All right, so I'm done with my actual berries. Now I'm going to come in with this image. Now this one actually has an outline image as well. Okay, using dies to emboss. Well, guess what? That's next month's technique class subject. Yahoo! So if you're interested in that, sign up. There is a $10 option if you just want to participate in the live as well. And then there's a $30 option if you want the PDFs, and a $40 option if you want the kits as well. Or you can become a club member. No, actually, it's not. You can't become a club member right now. It's not club member time. Okay, so now I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to do some stamping of my little berry top. And I'm going to do some full ink and some second ink so that it has, kind of a two-tone look. And so some of the berries, the lighter berries have a lighter green on them. Now, none of these have I stamped off the page, so that I don't have to worry about stamping off when I do my second ink. I talked about that before. If you stamp off the edge of the page, your stamp, the ink comes off the stamp differently, and it creates a line where it's off the page versus when it's on, and then you end up with a line on your in your image. That's no fun. Okay, so didn't that make it so pretty to have all those green stems in there? I think it just makes it, it's just so pretty. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy Schuster, one of the concept artists at Stampin' Up. Okay, so there is my basic vocal piece, if you will. And now I have a sentiment piece that I'm going to create. Grab it from my baggie over here. So I'm going to use the Happy Birthday You Sweet Thing from the stamp set. And this is actually the one thing that I did do differently from Cindy, which is, I don't even know what color she used. It looked like a blue, but there was no blue in here. So I thought, you know, I want to use one of the colors that is already in the design. So I chose my Granny Apple Green. Just going to stamp it on my white piece. Hard to see white on white. Let's see how well I can do on this. Okay. I love Granny Apple Green. Who else out there loves Granny Apple Green? Okay, so Charlotte, you said work with the loose gold. Do you mean the gilded leafing? Just clarify that for me if you would. Okay, so isn't that so pretty? The Granny Apple Green. It's just such a cheerful, bright color. I could use it like on everything. All right, and then I've got a piece of my Granny Apple Green right there. Now I'm going to build my little embellishment. Now, this is like sort of, for me, kind of a fish out of water sort of element that I almost never do. But Cindy did it on hers, and I liked the way it looked, so I decided to go for it. I took a piece of my Calypso coral ribbon, which it's not exactly in here, but it still goes, and it's all kind of in the same vein of sort of the same part of the rainbow, if you will. And the Calypso really almost looks a little bit like that petal pink. It's a darker version of it, so it goes really nicely. So basically, I've just clipped that together, but made 2 loops and then just folded one over the other. Now, we're going to put this behind the sentiment, but it ends up sort of looking random, even though it looks like a neat little bow right there. It looks sort of random behind the sentiment. So let's go ahead and do that part. So I'm going to start with putting a couple glue dots in the middle of the back of my sentiment. You can see I'm holding it. I should have left it in the clip. I'm juggling now, holding on to it with all my fingers. And then I'm going to, on the back side, I actually want it to face that way because I want my tails to be sort of lower. Do you know what I mean? The loops are above the tails, sort of. Okay, and then I'm going to put it on at an angle. So my bottom loop sort of comes off the bottom and the top loop comes off the top. Does that make sense? Just kind of like randomly on there. Totally not my usual style. I usually like it more, usually do things more orderly, but it's a fun little random look. Okay, and then I'm going to actually put dimensionals on the back side. So did I mention, I think I mentioned, but just in case you didn't hear me, I am going to also do a fast forward project or two. I've decided I don't know any boundaries when it comes to stamping. Like, I just want to show you everything under the sun that I'm working on, and it's not always a good thing. So I've got some more things to show you, hopefully not too much. I don't want to keep you here all night long, although I suspect some of you wouldn't mind. Hang out with me all night long, please. Okay, so there's that. Yes, okay, so MJ, you're with me on this. Well, hopefully you'll still like the card in the end. So let's start assembling this baby. So actually, I've done a second one. So this one, pretend it has adhesive on the back. Pretend, by magic, it's now on the front of a pretty, what is it called? Petal pink card body. Amazing, right? And then I'm just going to take my sentiment and attach it to this piece of Granny Apple Green. I can't. So the dimensionals are holding down the ribbon, and then I'm just going to go ahead and attach it. Where's my little? Okay, you guys know my little baby garbage pail. That's for the backings of my dimensionals. The floor of my house is so much neater now because I have controlled ways to keep track of my my dimensional backings. My little obsession. Okay, so let's see how we want this. So this is basically what Cindy did. but it's just so cheerful and happy, I think. Let's see if I got that okay. Yeah, it's a little bit more at an angle than I might want, but oh well, that's just the way it's going to stay. So I got a little bit of my Stampin' Seal. And I'm just going to stick it right in that corner. Now, do I want it to be, I don't know. See, this is where it's like, okay, it's at an angle. It's a strange angle. How do I reconcile with that? I think I'm just going to go for it. There you go, something like that. You know, kind of random, like it's falling, like the berries. And there you go. That's it. I love the strawberries. What do you guys think? I hope you like it. Strawberries, my favorite fruit. Has anybody picked strawberries ever? I picked strawberries with my girls when they were little. And it was very fun. And there's nothing like picking fresh strawberries and eating them right from the vine. Okay, I'm going to pack this up. I'm going to show you I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to do my fast forward to something maybe a little bit more complicated and more of my current style. Okay, so were there more comments about, oh, you pick strawberries every year? Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Okay, so I have to go back and look at the comments as to where to put this. So guess what? This will be a surprise. It'll be on my website on Saturday when the blog post goes live. I'll look at your comments, decide, and then I'll put it together and take pictures. Looking. Okay, MJ, you love the strawberries? Okay, strawberries as a child. Oh, you hate them as an adult? Oh my. Somebody's allergic. Oh, wow. Pretty cool. And let's see. You have strawberries in your box growing. Oh, is that right? Along my fence in your yard. Wonderful, Sharon. That's awesome. Okay, so we're done with that. I'm going to bring this in while I set up in case anybody's forgotten what those prize entry hashtags are. Share, tag, class requests, creative requests, favorite prizes, and use those hashtags so I can more easily find your entries. All right. Okay, so let's bring in my next thing. Now, if you don't remember me saying, stick around to the end because I have sneak peeks of the Butterfly Bouquet Stamp Camp class. Okay, so I really, really tried in my mind mentally to work on something and show you something that did not use the Butterfly Bouquet stamp set. But guess what? I couldn't. I just kept playing with it, and I kept playing, and I kept playing. So we're playing with it again today. I hope you don't mind. So for any of you out there who think you can just get the die and not the stamp set, I'm telling you now, I think you're wrong. Sorry. I think that this butterfly image, the set of images, is just so much fun. I can't stop playing with it. And after I show you more of what I'm going to show you today, maybe I'll have convinced you that you need it too. So I've got it set up on my Stamparatus. This has actually still been on my Stamparatus since last week because I've continued to play with it and learned some things. So FYI, what I found the best thing to do is to stamp, whether it's in StazOn or Memento, depending on what you're going to use, on a big piece of cardstock. If you want to die cut them all at the same time, the die actually, is big and cuts out all of those butterflies at the same time, which is just lovely. Now, if you got some of the Butterfly Bijou designer paper before it went away, great, because there's one of the designer papers that has all these butterflies that line up. But if you don't, you're going to need this stamp set, and you can cut out all of these butterflies at the same time. This piece, you just want it to be big enough so that you don't worry about it going off the edge. I found 5.5 by 6 inches is the recommended size. It's a little bit wider than it needs to be, but it's half of your piece of cardstock, your half of your 11 dimensions. So it just made sense to do that. And then you don't have to worry about it being off the edge. So 6 by 5.5. And there's that lovely die. The dies are just wonderful. Now I'm not using them today, but they are great dies as well. So I took this piece, die cut it, see, all in one fell swoop, and then punched them all out, and I have all these lovely butterflies. Now these I actually heat embossed. So I used my StazOn and quickly put it into clear embossing powder so that I could get them nice and bright and dark. So if you can compare the two, if you can tell the difference, the heat embossed ones are a little bit darker. So if you like a nice dark image, heat embossing is the way to go. And StazOn next to that is awesome as well, which is what we're using today. Okay, so the stamp set, you know, one image, whole thing. And I'm going to be using a sentiment from Dragonfly Garden. Okay, and we're going to be using, what did I call it? It's called is it called Natural Touch? I think I have that right. The Natural Touch Designer Series paper. So this is the first thing that we're going to do. Move this out of the way. And got to get out more of my things. So we're using the Saddle Brown StazOn. I'm using Early Espresso in my sponge, and I've got a couple of Blends alcohol markers. I'm using my Pumpkin Pie and my Calypso Coral. And I've got some Wink of Stella and another sponge for that. Okay, so those are all my supplies for this project. Okay, hold on. Getting organized here. I got a basic black card base, and I got some ribbon and a sentiment piece over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my Designer Series paper. Now this is actually dry embossed to some extent. It actually has a wood grain texture to it, and it's kind of a slick surface. I tried to play with it with some moisture, if you will, and it didn't work very well because it's really quite thin. But for what we're going to do now, it's really kind of lovely. Okay. So I'm just going to lay it down. I'm kind of testing where I want to make sure that this image is centered all over that. I'm using the StazOn because the paper is sort of slick, a little bit non-porous-ish, like it's got a glossy finish. So the inks that I tried that were not solvent-based, that were water-based, like our regular classic inks, kind of just rubbed off of it. So it didn't have a lot of success with those. So then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp my butterflies. If I were going to put a magnet down to hold it down, which is kind of nice because hopefully your paper stays in place, you could take one of your magnets and put it right in that little notch. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to find a spot to put the magnet. And the StazOn's a little bit sticky. Okay, so there's that. I think I may have stamped it last week and showed you guys this. Now that I'm doing it, it's like a deja vu. All right. And it's going to take just a second to dry. I think I might just, on my low setting, dry this just a little bit so I don't smear anything. So last week, you guys know, I showed you, I brought out this background that I had done in my Playing with Rubbing Alcohol technique class, or two of them, and I stamped the butterflies on it. And I have so many backgrounds that I've done in various ways with various techniques, and I just want to go and like stamp these butterflies on all of them. You guys think I'm crazy, but I have so many things to create with, you know, pieces that I've made, and I could be doing it, you know, every minute of the day for the rest of my life, and I probably wouldn't finish. Okay, so hopefully, yeah, so now that's good and dry. And then I'm going to take my Early Espresso ink, and even though this is one of the classic inks, when I did it the first time, I was able to get a little bit of the color to kind of come off and kind of make the wood grain just look a little bit more weathered. And it brings out the grain just a little bit too by using the espresso. Okay, next I'm going to use my saddle brown StazOn. And you're going to be surprised what the color of this is. So I'm using a sponge, and I'm just going to sponge over my butterflies. Saddle brown, and it looks yellow. Isn't that funny? I would think it would be brown, but it's not. So I'm literally just coloring in my butterflies with my StazOn. This is a solvent-based ink, so just like the black StazOn, it's going to work well on this glossy, slick sort of surface. All right, now I think I probably already mentioned, but just to remind you, who knows how long this paper is going to last, because it is a limited time offer. So if you like this paper, you definitely want to go and get some quick. Okay, so now I'm going to do some coloring. Now I'm just going to color this one butterfly, and I don't think I've actually done these colors before, so this is kind of an experiment. Just going to do some. Now technically, you can see I'm getting some black there. I don't really want to go over the black because the StazOn is really not intended to use with the blends, but I needed to use the StazOn on this paper so that it would stay. So as long as I stay in the lines, I can get the color in there without bleeding. So you see on that spot I touched the black, and it's sort of pulling the black StazOn out. It's like mixing with it. So I'm just going to do a little bit of accenting on this. This is the, which color am I using now? That is the dark pumpkin pie. And then I think I'm just going to do a little bit of the Calypso for a few accents in a few spots. Where to do it? You can see as long as I'm staying kind of not touching the black so much, it's pretty good as far as not bleeding. So anyway, you guys get the idea here. The point is to get a beautiful, I guess, sort of monarchy-like butterfly, monarch butterfly. And I could keep working that as much as I want. And then I'm going to grab some Wink of Stella and go over the whole thing. This will sort of blend it a little bit. There is actually alcohol in Wink of Stella. Doesn't seem to be a problem with the black StazOn, interestingly. I had thought it would be really fun to die cut the big butterfly and have it be flying over the top, but just helps it kind of stand out from the rest of the butterflies. All right, let's do some fast forwarding on this. So I have a sentiment that I have heat embossed already. You can see that there. And the sentiment is from the Dragonfly Garden set, right there. And on my original card, I actually used the gilded leafing, but I didn't want to show that. So I'll show the comparison. I've showed gilded leafing before in other demonstrations. Didn't want to spend the time on that today, but I will show you the difference between the gold heat embossing and the gilded leafing shortly. Okay, where'd my card go? So I've got a few pieces of ribbon and a little bit of gold twine. I just love this gold twine. It came with in a combination pack with some other vanilla ribbon, and I've gone through 2 rolls of this. This is like the very end of my roll, and I haven't used any of the vanilla ribbon. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set myself up with a little bit of adhesive on the back side of this. If I could find the adhesive. There we go. Oop. I want to do that first. That's important because the next step, I need to have the adhesive on there. So I'm going to wrap it around my hand 3 times. And is that going to be big enough? I think so. And then what I do is just twist it to create a figure 8 right there. And then I'll trim it off. The figure 8 just helps it to stay together a little bit better. Trim off the end. And then I'm going to stick it behind my sentiment. Look how shiny and glittery this gold ribbon is. I just adore it. I want like a ton of it. I could use it on so many different things. And, oop, this is the tricky part. And then at an angle, I'm going to put it onto my sentiment so that it's sticking out the loops on the bottom and the top. And then I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots. Hey, Wendy. Good to see you here. Hi, Judy. Oh, thank you for sharing. All right, so I'm going to put a few glue dots on the back of my piece. And then I've got these other 2 ribbons. Now I'm using 2 of the in-color ribbons that are the 2022. This is Cinnamon Cider, which just seemed perfect with this color scheme, and the Bumblebee. So I've got this piece, which I'm going to kind of making an X of the 2 on the back side of the 2, the Cinnamon Cider and the Bumblebee. And then on this one, like that. Let's see if I'm just going to attach to the paper or just do it in the air, I guess. Okay, so there's my basic little sentiment. See how we got it on the back. And then I do have it on dimensionals. Where did I put the black ones? Now I need the little mini ones, the little mini dimensionals. So I'm going to straddle my ribbon against my paper to help to hold down the ribbon to the paper at the same time. And I guess that might just have to do. It's a little bit uneven there, but it should be okay. Maybe I'll do another one right in the middle. Okay, so then this is going to go ahead and get attached to the front of my card. Let me show you the other finished one. So this is my finished one. Similar, right? I didn't use as much of the orange in this one, but bring it up to the camera so you guys can see. I don't know if you can see the wink of Stella there, but it's really quite pretty. I don't even think you could see it that way. Anyway, you can see the paper is kind of shiny. And the 2 different sentiments that I used, and this one on the left is the gold heat embossing, and the one on the right is the gilded leafing. Oh, Sandy, I'm so glad. It's a wow, and I'm getting hearts and thumbs up. Thank you, people. Appreciate it. So the gilded leafing is just, it's like the shine of this twine. It's just so pretty. It's a little more cumbersome to use than gold heat embossing, but it is well worth it if you're willing to do spend the extra time. So for doing the gilded leafing, just to take you through the process quickly, it's a little bit like heat embossing, but you stamp with Versamark, put heat and stick powder on it, melt the heat and stick powder, and then you stick it into the gilded leafing. You can see you lose a tiny bit of the detail with the gilded leafing, but it's still really, really pretty. So there you go. That is my finished card with the Natural Touch designer paper. Now, a few other things I wanted to show you. So just as a point of comparison, so you guys can see, the before, right, and the after with the little bit of espresso. I think I used a little more espresso on that one than I did on this one. So it's, there we go, shades. So you can go as dark with it as you want, but it's just super pretty. Oh, Jan, I'm so happy you're going to try it tomorrow. That's what I love to hear. Wonderful. All right, so I wanted to show you a few other things. Quick things. I'm not actually going to finish any other cards, but I did want to show you a few things that I thought was fun, because I have used this stamp set using the whole image for most of the things that I've done, but there are a couple things that I've done different from that. So I thought it would be nice to just show you guys that you don't have to use the whole thing if you don't want to. So I don't know about you guys, but I end up with a ton of scraps that are all different sizes, but these are an example. These are like 1-inch scraps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back side of each of these. Find my basic middle, sandwich them up against one another. Let's see where I am with that positioning wise. I think that should be pretty good. And then I'm going to grab my stays on again. And I think I showed you a design last week that had 3 strips like this. One of the ones that I made after the playing with rubbing alcohol class, when I was playing with leftover strips of cardstock. And this, it was because I had those leftover strips that it inspired me to do the design. Excuse me. So it was one of those designs where it's completely from scratch, from my head, inspired 100% by the fact that I had strips that I wanted to play with. So it was simple as that. So there's my strips. And this is the card I showed last week, right, with the alcohol, playing with alcohol. And then the card that I started playing with after that was, it was also with some alcohol and ink. And so I put this together. Now these strips are a little bit wider than the ones I just did, but this is where I would go with this design, right? So I haven't totally finished it. This one isn't even totally finished, and maybe you guys have ideas. It just needs something. So I just put this twine on the bottom, but it just doesn't seem like enough. I was playing with my gold, but that just kind of didn't seem right. But I just love the kind of soft texture that I got in the background using my ink and my alcohol as a backdrop for those gorgeous, gorgeous butterflies. So of course, this one, because this is just regular cardstock, I would do the same kind of thing on a piece of black, line those babies up. I could even just stay with the black and white because it's really crisp and beautiful, and just come up with a layout that I might like. Oh, you know what would look really pretty? I have to grab it. Can I grab it without disconnecting myself? Let's see. So I could see it with some of this wonderful, what is this called? Metallic ribbon sort of bunched up on there against another layer. Anyway, that's where we're going. Always got multiple things in the brew, creating. And so last week I also showed you, inspired by my friend Wendy, who is here on the Facebook Live, or at least she was a little while ago. I stamped a full piece of vellum with those same full butterfly stamp, and I made a card from it, so I wanted to show you what I did. So this is the card. It's got a piece of white in behind. I stamped my black and then sponged it with some blues and stamped an image from the very Versailles to add to that, and then I used my gilded leafing for the sentiment. This was actually a leftover sentiment that I just had hanging around. So that's what I made with what I started showing you last week. And then just for the heck of it, it's just too much to show you guys. I could be here all night long. I played around with this, with that Natural Touch paper, colored it with some different blends, and you know, I didn't end up doing anything with it, but you can probably see the Wink of Stella on there as well. Stamped some of that foliage image from Very Versailles in the background, and anyway, that isn't a card yet, but you know, just play, right? Just got to try lots of different things, see where it goes. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple other projects. I want to know from you guys, should I show these and how to do them next week? Because we are almost at like 50 minutes or whatever it is, and it's too much time. I have to stop and I have things to finish before so tell me, I'm just going to say, this is another example of what you can do with the Butterfly Bouquet stamp set. So there's one. There's another one. This is a full image stamped and then cut in half, and this is the other half. So, should I show how to do these next week? Let me just say. Oh, I see Judy says yes. Nancy says yes. I would have showed you them tonight, but then I thought that's ridiculous. I have to stop. I can't. We'll be here all night long. Okay, I'm going to keep looking. So you tell me, should I show Butterfly Bouquet again next week with those projects? Say yes or no. Let me know what you think. I won't be offended if you say no. Okay, where am I with what I need to share? I think I'm pretty much at the end of my agenda. Let me get to my notes so I can remember where I am. All right, I know it was a lot. So I'm going to face the camera to me. Oh, I see yes. I see yeses. You guys are making me happy because you know I really want to share it. I want to share it. I've had so much fun playing with those. And you just never know where a project's going to go, but I do love how those turned out. I wanted to show the Natural Touch paper, especially tonight, because who knows how long it's going to last, and I had done some playing with it. I thought it would be fun, but had those projects in the brew as well, so I'm glad to know you guys want to see it next week. Yay, and I know what I'm doing next week now. Wonderful. All right, so just a couple of reminders, recaps before we go. I do have my sneak peeks I'm going to quickly show you from the Butterfly Bouquet class. So that is a Stamp Camp 12 project, $60, over $40 worth of product included in the kit. And there's a bunch of fun folds and a few 3D things. Let's see what else I need to tell you. I'm going to save it for the very last. I'm going to entice you. Okay, so what do I need to remind you about? 18-year anniversary celebration special ends on the 20th. So 2 days from now. And there are gifts for the $50 merchandise purchase, $75, $100, $150, and $200. And I have only one left of that Berry Burst stamp set and designer series paper. So if you want that, definitely act fast. And at the $200 level, you actually can get one of the items that you would have been able to get as a hostess at the $300 level. Okay, if that makes any sense. Anyway, it's all on my website. You can check it out there. Let's see what else. And of course, make sure to comment and share with friends, tag those hashtags. I'll remind you of the hashtags. You still have time, whether you're live or on the replay, do comment. And I will leave the commenting open and opportunities to win. And of course, that's backwards. This is my test. Can you read it backwards? Until, what did I say? Okay, we go live on Facebook on Saturday, so I leave it open until Sunday to give people on YouTube an opportunity to be able to respond as well. So we'll leave it open till Sunday, and then I'll draw Monday or Tuesday this week. I didn't end up drawing till Wednesday. Too many things to do, but it will happen. I will announce it in my newsletter and here in next week's live. If I don't manage to announce it on Facebook, but I will do my best. Okay, so, okay, I think we are down to the wire. Sneak peeks. You guys ready? Which one should I show first? Okay, I have to do this really fast because it's really just supposed to be a sneak peek. Here we go. Here's number 1. And see, here's number 2. There are 12 projects. I'm only showing you 4. Here's number 3. Can you tell that it's moving? All right. And then last but not least, this one opens. And this I'm going to show you really fast. Okay, I have to take off its little wrapper. Here we go. You ready? Choo! That's all you get. And then you like my sound effects? I hope you like my sound effects. Anyway, super fun class. You're going to love the projects in this class. Wendy, who is here joining us tonight, Melanie, who was here last week, I think, joining us, are the other designers for the projects. They did an awesome job. And again, there's are some fun folds and 3D things. So anyway, super fun class. So sign up quick because there's only limited spots. I'm glad you like the sneak peeks, Wendy. We all talked about, okay, we have to do it fast. So anyway, so I guess that will do it. So again, my blog post will go live on Saturday. And I will go live on YouTube as well on Saturday with this video. Make sure to check out my blog post if you want dimensions or details about these projects or still photos of what I showed tonight. And I will be back, same time, same channel, next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, next Thursday for more Treehouse TV. I'm glad you like the sneak peeks, Fran. Yay. Okay, I'm just going to give a chance to just read and enjoy your comments. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Christy. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Christy. Hi, Judy. Sometimes it just says somebody's watching. I'm glad you like the projects, Wendy. I love watching you too. I watch Wendy's Facebook Live too. She does on Tuesdays. Let's see. Who else? Okay. Hi, Gail. Hi, Nancy. Nancy, you got to go. That's okay. Kept you for a long time. You have a nice week too. A nice weekend. Thank you, Fran, for joining in. I'm glad you enjoyed the demonstrations. Very fun. It's nice to just hang out and see what you guys have to say. All right. I will see you next Thursday. Thank you so much for being here, for commenting, for participating, for sharing, for tagging, all that good stuff. We'll see you next time, same channel. Mwah! Bye, everybody.